Why do you keep getting ghosted? Why do you meet these guys or ladies that you feel you're compatible with, you're having fun with, and then, like smoke, they're gone. Never be heard from again. Here you are, innocently thinking it's going well. You think you have a connection, that you've brought your A game, and that the other person's vibing with you, right? And suddenly, out of nowhere, like a poof of smoke, they're gone, baby. And they leave you wondering, why again? Why again do you keep getting ghosted? And what does it mean? Well, let's get into it, shall we? All right, before we say anything, let's set some expectations here. Real quick, just because you're getting ghosted doesn't mean that you suck, okay? It just means you might make a few adaptations here or there, a few adjustments, and then, bam, you're back in the game, all right? So that's the first thing. So don't be too downtrodden yet. Now, if we find out that this is happening literally all the time, well, then we clearly have more work to do. Now, there are different eras to dating, all right? Just like there are different eras in sports, gentlemen. You know, there was a dead ball era. There is the three-point era in basketball. There is, the big man era, the post-game era, the run and gun era. It really just depends on what era you're in and how you're playing, to how you have to adapt your game. It goes for you too, ladies. Now, I bring this up because in this era of dating, there seems to be less rules, if you will, as to what manners should exist. What is the code of conduct, the ethics, the etiquette, if you will, the dating etiquette? There seems to be a lack of etiquette in modern dating. It's a lot easier to be rude to people and, not be very considerate. I mean, look at social media. It's allowed us to communicate with each other in ways that we wouldn't have before, and you don't have to meet somebody face to face. A lot of people have a lot of balls nowadays and a lot of courage they wouldn't have had in previous eras, is all I'm saying. And this extends itself into the dating communication realm. And so what we're left with are the same people who are, not necessarily that considerate in real life, but you don't know it. Well, now you know it. Okay. And so plus there's the modern era dating is developed in a way that it's created all this nuance of dating for men and for women. So, there's different types. Friends with benefits didn't exist as much maybe several generations ago as it does now, right? Or, having different partners for different things, or, not getting married, or getting married but having several partners, whatever, right? There's all a host of different, dynamics that exist today. And therefore, there are different things that we're dealing with that we haven't, previous generations didn't really deal with as much. This is one of those. And now we have to learn to communicate in various ways. But the good news is the same skill set that it takes to communicate and be successful in dating one-on-one or in a bar or meeting them organically applies to dating online, and also applies to the trusty texting conversations that we do on our phone. So same deal, but it's a numbers game, guys. Getting ghosted, being treated rudely, unfortunately, because we live in a pretty rude, disrespectful society. It's cool now to be disrespectful to people. I don't believe that, nor should you, because you are a practitioner of DOLCE VITA after all. And we conduct ourselves differently and respectfully. And, you know, let's not completely be disrespectful to other people, even if we're not interested. It's not a good look. Don't market yourself like that. It doesn't look good on you. That being said, it's kind of like going to the pool and expecting not to get wet. If you're in the dating game at all, you're going to have some disrespectful things done to you. You can't take any of it personally. You really can't. Even if you're doing a poor job at something, that's what we're here to identify and correct. But you can't take it personally. It's not a personal thing. I know you think to yourself, well, what can be more personal than dating? On one hand, that is true. But on the other hand is, they don't know you yet. Right? If they're ghosting you and all that, they don't really know you yet. And the problem is for most people is that you may not be a bad dating partner. You just may not be right for them. You may not be marketing yourself well. They might have a different boyfriend or girlfriend. You don't know. You have no way of knowing. So you cannot take it personally. Just move on. Just move on. Do not chase, but just reevaluate your approach. If it's something's happening consistently, then obviously we have to address that. That's what we're going to do now. If not, though, and this is an occasional thing that happens, then look, it's part of the game, and you can't take it personally. As I said, move on. So why do you keep getting ghosted? What's going on here? What does it mean when you're ghosted? Fundamentally, this is all it means. It means whoever's on the other end of that telephone that's not ringing, calling, or texting, it means they've seen enough, one way, shape, or form, for whatever they're after, whether it's a relationship or sex, some short-term, long-term, meaningful or not meaningful. They've seen enough. Had enough, they've moved on. They've put you in a certain category. They're not interested. So let me talk about to the ladies first, because this is easier for me to explain since I'm a guy. When a guy ghosts you, initially, here's how you have to look at it. Initially, there was some interest in you, or he wouldn't have been communicating with you to start with. Now, what that interest was, hard to say. No guy's going to tell you what he's interested in right away, even if you think he's going to be honest with you. He's not, because he's always leading with his dick. Hate to say it, hate to be that blunt with it, but it's true. He's looking to get laid first. His sexuality is the priority for him initially. Now, it doesn't mean he doesn't want more, but that's what's going to attract him initially. Am I physically attracted to this woman in some way, shape, or form? And is she appealing to me in ways that may be beyond sex? All right. So he's seeing something about you sexually that he likes, or he might even be thinking, would I have sex with this girl? And that might be it. It might be a lot more than that. You don't know yet. All you can do is be patient and bide your time. It's important for women to know, just like you put men into two categories. Dateable, well, real three. Not dateable, you don't have anything to do with them, right? Then you have the nice guy who's your friend that you're not sexual about. Maybe you'll keep him on the back burner, right? To pump up your ego, something like that. Or in case the real boyfriend you're into screws up and, whatever, or it's a jealousy guy, whatever, right? You crazy woman. And then you have the guy that you're really interested in, right? Who reaches you on several levels. He's intriguing to you sexually, maybe a little bit of mystery, maybe a little bad boy. Everyone needs a little bad boy in their life. And you put them in categories. Okay, and of course, they can switch from those categories. Very rarely will a guy come out of the nice guy category into the sexually interesting category. Men know this, ladies. Don't lie about it. You know it's true. Men also have categories. It's very basic. There's really two categories, and then there's a couple of subcategories we'll get into very quickly. And this is how you get ghosted really quickly. Men want, it's not a secret, a lady in the street and a freak in the bed. In terms of serious dating, in terms of potentially more than just a sexual partner. Now, you can be a freak out in the street too if you want, or you can advertise that and market yourself like that online, your social media, what have you. But the gentlemen out there, the guys that you probably want, are not going to keep you around because they're not going to be desperate. and they're going to be attracted to a woman that is high value enough that she's not going to present herself as such. She's going to respect herself a lot. And that's what a lot of guys want. A lady in the street and a freak with only them, right? But a freak. So they really have two categories. We men have two categories. A woman that we will take out in public. We'll meet our friends that we're not embarrassed to have around our friends for various reasons. Maybe she's attractive, maybe she's not attractive. Maybe she conducts herself respectfully. Maybe she's embarrassing, right? You follow me? Or a girl that they don't want to take in public. Those are really two categories. Now, of those two categories, it breaks down to subcategories. Girls that you'd want to, that you might still sleep with, but you would never tell your friends about it. You would never brag to your friends. Usually that's a looks department thing, right? Like, let's not tell anybody I did that. And then the second one would be because they are, for whatever reason, don't like the way you conduct yourself in public. Maybe she drinks too much. Maybe she has too many guys, suitors around. Maybe she is just embarrassing in one way, shape, or form. It reflects poorly on him. It's okay in the short term, but in the long term, he would never commit to her. All right. So you could be a woman that you might be hot. Maybe you're incredibly sexy, but the jury's still out on you, right? And it might just be the where he is in his life right now. It could be that he just got a relationship and he's seeing a lot of different women. Because the sexual marketplace for him does matter, right? Because if he doesn't have as many options, well, then he might just keep you around long enough because he's got nothing better yet. That's the other thing. He won't quite commit to it yet. The jury's still out and something better has not come along yet. I know that sounds terrible, but men do that for sex. Women do that as a place marker until they find somebody better with hypergamy, usually in status, money, someone who's going to treat them better, what have you, right? Both men and women do this, but guys will keep you around only for sex, whereas women don't typically do that. I mean, they will, but they don't typically do it like guys will do it. So a lot of times you don't know if they really put you in a category of, hey, does this guy want me to, is he really thinking of me in the equivalent of the male friend zone, right? So men know not to go into the female friend zone, right? Don't get caught there. No. You put those in the categories. We put them in the categories of the female equivalent of the friend zone, which is I'm not committing to her. I might sleep with her if she's attractive enough physically, but I'm not committing to her, or at least not yet. Two, so but the first one you can still get it. The second one you can still get it, but maybe you're crazy. Maybe there's some red flags, some code orange alarms going off, and they can't really take you seriously as somebody they're going to commit to, right? There's certain things that he may not like. Now, he might keep you around because maybe you are a great friend. Maybe there's some friends with benefits sort of thing that's fine, right? But there's something there that for whatever reason, he's not attracted to. In terms of long-term potential, in terms of committing to you more, in terms of being in a relationship, a romantic relationship. And then number three is you could still get it, but you're crazy. And you may, if you're crazy enough, you may not even get it. You have to, let me just tell you something, ladies. If you're so crazy or you give up so many red flags that they're not even willing to sleep with you, you got to reevaluate your game. And you got to get with your PR department, because guys, if you're attractive, even mildly attractive, and it's a slow night, they might still do it. There's men out there that will do that. That's all I'm saying. So it's one of those things. Now, they're not going to tell you because they don't want to be rude. Most guys are not rude like that. They're not going to be disrespectful to your face. They're not going to want to hurt your feelings, right? Especially if they actually like you as a person. Again, if you're just crazy or you're coming off and they think you're disrespectful or you don't deserve it, maybe they don't care, but they don't want to hurt your feelings. So they're not going to tell you, but be sure if they're ghosting you, What does it mean? It means they've seen enough. Whatever reason they wanted you for, they've seen enough to know that you're not going to fit into that paradigm, into that construction of like, whether, even if it was a short-term thing. Maybe they didn't want to hurt you. They knew it wasn't going on. They knew it wasn't going to go any further than maybe like sex or anything serious. And maybe they've respected you enough that, you know, I know she wants more than that. I know she wants to be more than friends with benefits. So I'm just going to cut it off because I'm never going to be that for this girl. That's not who I want to be for her. She's not my type, whatever, for whatever reason. And instead of being respectful and taking that further and just telling you that, maybe they didn't want to hurt your feelings. Maybe they didn't know how to communicate that. And it was just easier if they just ghosted you or gradually let you down slowly. But make no mistake, that's what it is. We know what it means. We know potentially why you keep getting ghosted. Now, gentlemen, this is a different question. We haven't talked about the gentleman yet. Before I move on, gentlemen, if they're ghosting you, you're going to know up front if a girl likes you enough. It's not going to be more than a couple interactions in person, maybe even over the phone, before you understand if you're getting ghosted or not, before you know up front. So generally speaking, if you make a good first impression, you're all you got to do is kind of ride that wave for a while and you're fine. But if there's something that you did that you don't like, they're probably not going to tell you either. They're probably either going to ghost you or just some of them, might respect you enough to tell you, yeah, this is not for me, X, Y, and Z. Fine. Again, don't go to the pool and not expect to get wet. This will happen from time to time. The key is it happening consistently. Now, for men, a lot of us are just looking to get laid. And if that's the consolation prize to get laid and then not talk to them again, that's totally okay for a lot of us, right? But if you're looking for something serious and it keeps happening, again, it's not, don't take it personally necessarily. Maybe if you meet a girl that's really, you hit it off with and respectful, maybe just ask them, look, I'm looking for X, Y, and Z. I'm wondering why, and I totally respect your decision not to see me or talk to me anymore or whatever the situation may be. But can you give me some insight? Because I want to make sure that I'm not doing something in terms of marketing myself or saying things, doing something that is not me, or that it's coming off in the wrong way. I don't want to be perceived in a way that is not truly me or how it's not intended. And see what they say. Get some feedback. It's good to know, because if you are doing something, it's a flaw in your game. Well, you need to know that, boy. Figure it out quick, because you cannot continue to make that mistake. You might see, gentlemen, I mean, again, it's the same thing. They see you as a friend, right? Because you're coming off too nice. So you're a nice guy category. You don't want that. Or maybe they get a little bit into it and there's something else about you that they don't quite like. Maybe your breath's bad consistently. Are you showering? I mean, that seems to be a little superficial. I kind of doubt that. I'm sure you'd be aware of it. But you don't know. A lot of times they're not going to tell you. But I can tell you this. Be aware of the quick turnoffs. Are you being disrespectful? Are you moving too quickly? Are you not being patient enough with the women? Right? Are you pushing them too quickly? Is it all about sex? Are you so desperate? Are you feeling desperate right now? And the women can feel that. They can feel your desperation. If they feel that, like you're being too sexual up front, you're pushing too hard, you're sending unsolicited genital photos, gentlemen. We've talked about this. It's in other videos. Then yeah, they're going to ghost your ass, okay? Because it's weird. Just know that up front, they're going to ghost your ass, and you deserve it because you're being weird. You have to build rapport first. Again, here and here first before you earn that. You have to earn it through the process, but through the relationship building process. Even if all you want is sex, okay? You still have to go through the process. No woman wants to be treated like she's cheap. And can you blame her? So treat her like the woman you want her to be. Maybe she'll rise to the occasion. But in the meantime, treat her with respect. And don't be the nice, I mean, with respect, yes, but don't be the nice guy. Have a backbone, have some edge, have some attitude, have some standards. Be a bit of a badass, please. Okay, don't embarrass me. That's all I'm saying. And it's a good chance they won't put you in that friend category, or they won't ghost you. It's not really that hard. It's a very basic way, right? And if you connect with somebody, it's not hard to connect with someone, guys. It's rapport building. It's asking great questions. It's being genuinely curious about your dance partner, the person you're in a conversation with. It's about having a life outside of them that they're interested about, that they're curious about. What are your passions? What are your dreams? What are you working towards? What are you striving towards? What dreams are you chasing? What things do you love spending your time doing? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to be? What do you want to become of yourself? And by the way, you should be asking her those same very questions. So if you're doing those things, the odds of them ghosting you go way down. You already have inherent leverage. They're already talking to you. So what are you doing to drop the ball? It's one of these things we've discussed, more than likely. And why does it keep happening? Well, it's hard to say. But knowing men want a woman in the street to freak into bed. They want a woman, ultimately in terms of dating, they want a woman that is sexually attractive, obviously, but only to them. And they want them to be someone they can show in public, right? To their friends, who's respectful, who knows how to conduct and carry themselves with dignity and class, and someone they can bring home to their family, right? I mean, if you look in terms of the big picture, for men, same thing. Women want the same thing. Somebody they can bring out and show their friends. Somebody that can hold a conversation. Somebody who can carry themselves with dignity and class and respect. And if there's a chink in the armor, they might keep it around for a little while, but ultimately they might ghost you. If they're courteous enough, they might tell you why. In my experience with the ladies, I will say that we'll get them ghosted. It's coming on too strong. Talking about anything that makes you feel like you have expectations for and obligations way too early, right? Like I'm just a pawn on her proverbial chessboard of life. And I'm just checking all the proverbial boxes, right? Is he this tall? Check. Does he have this color hair? Check. Does he have this kind of job? Check. Whatever. Okay. And if a man feels like that, he might keep her around for sex, but ultimately he's already put her in a category of, yeah, probably not long-term. I can see where this is going. And if it becomes too much too soon, he's probably going to ghost her, or at least be like, that's it. All the things we talk about in terms of high maintenance behaviors, that is why a guy might ghost you. So look at the videos I talk about when we talk about high maintenance behaviors and look to that. That'll tell you why you're being ghosted. You're in one of those categories, and the rent to buy option, he might be renting to buy, and then you blow it at some point. He's seen enough, right? We've talked about it. He's seen enough. It might be one of those things to where, gentlemen, she's seen enough, quite literally. Okay. So I think it's a lot more blunt. I think it's a lot more upfront with the ladies, and it's gonna be a lot quicker. Whereas a guy, and I don't envy women for this, because they have the dubious job, the challenging job of trying to figure out, all right, is this guy serious, or he's just keeping me around for this? He's probably not going to tell you, at least not initially, if he doesn't know you well enough. And he might still be trying to, in all fairness, he might still be trying to figure it out. Is this woman viable? In other words, is she somebody, all right, she's attractive on the surface, she seems cool, but there's these red flags. And is there a way that I can communicate with her that those are not, I like her in all these other ways, but that's a deal breaker for me. And if she's willing to change those things, if it's not that big of a deal for her, they're not like ingrained personality traits, and there's something that she can change. If she values this association enough, then maybe he'll give it a go. But again, that involves communication. So again, it comes back to communication again. The better communicators we are, the better we're going to be. And if we want to learn more about communication, guys, there's no better place than the DOLCE VITA Lifestyle channel right here, where we talk about communication in the context of dating, flirting with danger. And the DOLCE VITA Lifestyle channel is all about becoming our best selves, constant, never-ending improvement, taking that proverbial marble piece of granite of life and chipping away at it, having that vision for ourselves. How do we want to be? How do we want to behave? What do we want to create? What dreams we're chasing? And, sharing that, creating this network where we can all choose our own adventure and help each other choose our own adventure. And just like all the beautiful people behind me, this is a social network for people that want to become their ultimate selves and explore life and through interesting experiences. So, until next time, be safe and not too safe. Live dangerously. And we shall see each other soon. Hopefully in person, especially if you're hot.